Hello, I'm Mitch Jacobs with Intelligent Technologies, and thanks for joining us for this brief Acumatica webinar focused on its reporting capabilities. Naturally, Acumatica exports all reports to Excel very easily, and PDFs are an option as well. Because it's web-based, another great feature is grabbing the report link through the Help button and embedding in any program, like a PowerPoint, for example. It allows a lot of flexibility. Enjoy.
Let's say I would like to get a list of my sales order details by customer. Now, every time I create this, or every time I go into the report, I can set new options. But what I can also do is I can go in here and I can set my parameters. So let's say I want to go back to January 1st, 2014, and let's say I'm in the Virginia warehouse. So I work out of the Virginia retail warehouse. So what I can do is I can now go and I can create this as a template. And then I can make this either the default template for everyone or default template for me. So I make this my default template, and then if I want to make it for everyone, then I can go ahead and I can say shared. And then I give the template a name, and then everybody can take advantage of that template. In this case, I'm just going to make it my default. All right? Then I go in here and I say save template. It asks me for a template name. So I'll just say this is my Virginia warehouse. And so I'll say OK to that. And that's now saved. That's it. That's me creating my template. And you can end up with as many templates as you want. So all these different parameters, different sorts and filters, different ways of printing and emailing this information. You can even have different report versions. So every time you generate this report, you can tell the system to take a snapshot of that version of the report. So it's basically taking a point in time. How did you get point-in-time reports with other systems? You printed them out and you went back and you looked for them. With Acumatica, you don't have to do that. Are we at the point yet where we're totally paperless? No, but we're getting awfully close. And this is an example of that kind of advanced functionality which you should expect from your software, because this is the kind of thing that we're now able to do. So go back to my report parameters. That's all great. So that's fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to choose to run my report. And then it generates the report. Now in this particular instance, I'm looking at this and it's not showing me any data. Well, why is that? Very, very simple. I can just go back. Now, how do I go back? Well, would I use the back button in my web browser? Yes, I would. So that will then take you back to the last fully functional screen that you were in. So I can go in here and I can look at my shipment details or my sales order details by customer, and what do you see? There's my template. Well, this template is not showing me everything that I want. So it could well be that maybe there are no orders in the Virginia warehouse. So let's just hit the delete button there and get rid of that. I don't have to override the template. It's not going to save the template again with this change. This is just a one-off. So now I'll run the report. Now I'm getting some data. So you can see here's all of the sales order details. It's just none of them were in the Virginia warehouse. Okay, I've got them in my retail, my Virginia wholesale, but nothing in the Virginia retail office. So there's my report. So that's great. I can maximize that out and I can now move through this data. Anywhere where you see the field underlined, well, guess what? Even from the report, with one click, you can drill down to the original transaction. And there it is. There's my original transaction. There's all the details behind that. But I can also, if I want to, I can go ahead now and I can generate this document as a PDF. So now it's automatically created that document for me as a PDF, and I can print it out, I can save it, I can share it, I can do whatever I want. All right. I can then go back as well. I can refresh that at any particular point in time, or I can go back to my parameters again and I can choose new parameters, or I can run the report again from scratch. Now, a couple of other things. If I've got multiple pages, moving through the pages is really easy. I've got these navigation buttons up at the top. So it makes it very, very simple to navigate my way through all of my information once it's in my grid. I can print this information now. I can hit the send button, and what that will do is that will bring up inside Acumatica our email functionality, because funnily enough, Acumatica will integrate with pretty much any email server that you are using, as long as it uses the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, or SMTP, which is pretty much every mail server in the world. But we also have some extended and enhanced integration through to Microsoft Exchange, so that you can take emails that come in and emails that you send out and automatically attach those as activities to your customer records. So you'll see that's exactly what's happening here. It's generating an email activity. So it's saying at this point in time, you are sending an email, and it's coming from me. I'm the admin at revision2.com. That's my company. And who do I want to send it to? So I can click here, and it gives me a list of all of my people inside the organization, but also all of my customers. So let's say, for example, I just want to send this to the CEO, who is Michael Andrews. So I go ahead and I choose Michael, and I can say, here's the current sales report with details. And then if I want to, I can get more sophisticated, and I can put in some rich information into the message, because this is going to go as a HTML message. So if I want to put formatting in here, if I want to embed links to web pages, I can do all of that. Now you're thinking, all right, that's great, but Richard, where's the report? Great question. You'll see the report's actually attached up here as a file. So if I click on Files, okay, I'll say, yes, I do want to proceed. So save those changes, and there's the report. So the report's going to go as an attachment to this email. It's not going to go as an embedded file. What does that mean? Basically, you're reducing the amount of traffic you're sending over the network. And all I have to do now is hit send. But I can also record some additional actions behind this. I can select the source where it's coming from, and once it's been sent, there's other things that I can do inside the system. So then I'll just hit send, and away it goes. That email has now gone to the CEO. He can open it up. When he opens it up, guess what? He's got that drill down functionality. Let's say, for example, I am looking at this document. So it's a sales order, and it is a sales order for a Kindle, and it's going to the US bartending school. Well, let's say I want to send a note to somebody asking them to take some action around this. All I do is I go here into Help, and I say Get Link. When I get that link, it gives me two versions. One, if the person is outside the company, and one if they're inside the company. So I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to say Copy. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to say Send. Again, it opens up the email activity, but this time the URL is embedded in the email. So I'm going from admin at revision2.com. I'm going to send it to myself just for the sake of the exercise. Now, if I've got literally thousands and thousands of customers that could come up here, again, I can go in here and I can just start using my search functionality. So I can type in admin, and what does the system then do? It will narrow it down, and it will show me all the people that match to that string. So as much as you can put in, that's what it will show you. All right? Or let's say I want to send it to Richard Duffy. So I would just start typing R-I-C-H, and away it goes. If I wanted to send it to somebody else inside the organization, again, I've got total flexibility over that. Or if it's just a one-off to somebody outside the organization, let's say I want to send it to duffyhome@gmail.com, then it will go to that person's email address. So I can say, here's the sales order for you to check. And then when I say send, what's it going to do? It's automatically going to send that email out to that person's email address. Now they're then going to open up that email, and you'll see that, well, I'll show you in a minute actually. When they open up that email, there's going to be a hyperlink. They just click on that hyperlink, it'll open up the Acumatica webpage, prompt them for their username and password. So they've got to have a username and password to be able to get into the system. As long as they've got that and they've got the right to view that information, then it will take them in. So if you're sitting there thinking, well, what if it's the person who doesn't have access to it? Well, they won't be able to log on. So I can send them that link, but the link won't do them any good because they've got to be able to log on and access the system. But here's the good thing about Acumatica. We don't charge for the number of users that you have using your Acumatica system. That means that you can grant access to the system through a portal that's already included with the software. You can give access to all of your customers and they can come online and they can access their information directly from Acumatica without you having to do any customization, without you having to buy extra software from an external company, tie all these bits and pieces together, which is what you have to do with many of the applications available on the market today. With Acumatica, we provide that customer self-service portal functionality for you out of the box. So, there we go. There's my activity that I've created. And again, at any particular point in time, you can simply click here on the activities and you can see if there are any activities that have happened that are linked to this sales order, which is where I got to in the first place. And remember, how did I get to that sales order? Got to that sales order from my report. So I've got that drill down functionality. Let's take one step further. I've got my report, but you know what? I'm the kind of person who walks around with a sign above my head saying spreadsheets are my life. You can give me any information you like as long as you give it to me in a spreadsheet and I'll be happy. So all I do is I go here and I choose export, and it automatically exports this out to an Excel spreadsheet for me. I click save, and you'll see, because we're operating in a web browser, it now gives me that file and downloads it for me, just the same as if I downloaded a file from the internet. So I then select that file, I open it up in Microsoft Excel, and there it is. There is that same report already exported out and formatted for me into Microsoft Excel. So now I can take all my Excel skills and I can start adding additional information into my Excel spreadsheet. All right? So that's a report that's been formatted up automatically for me. So I'm going to close that down. So that's an example of using that reporting.
Thanks again for joining us. Please use the links below for more information or to start your free trial.